Hey, this is Emily at Inflatable Kayaks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Kokopelli Platte Inflatable Kayak. I was quite impressed with this kayak for a sit-on-top inflatable. It zooms along fairly quickly, partly because it's quite narrow across the beam. We'll talk a bit more about that. It is very well made. It's very easy to set up. It's very lightweight and quite comfortable. However, there is a big limitation on this kayak. It's not for everybody, and we're going to talk about what that is and whether that's right for you. So when I say lightweight, like when you make a quality inflatable kayak, the thickness of the materials matter and the quality of the joints. And so you do end up adding weight. So the fact that they built something really robust for 10.8 kilograms is very impressive. They've got handle too. They've made it really practical, really easy. I found this really easy to get to and from the water. It was delightful. The other thing that I loved is it's got a removable drop stitch floor on the bottom. And so the removable element means that any water that's gotten in underneath, you can just pull it out and wipe the whole thing down. So there's very little fabric on this whole kayak. Basically the seat and the seat straps is it. So really quick and easy to wipe dry and put away. Now it's very long inside. Like I had the seat straps shortened right up here. I'm about 5'5", about 165 centimeters tall, right up here. And I only just reached the footbreast. So you really could get this back a good 1.5 feet, more than me, taller than I am, and still have quite a bit of room inside. That's the internal width, not the height of the person. However, the major restriction on this for some people is going to be the width. Now, they've made it narrow so that it paddles really well, but of course you have to fit in it. You have to be comfortable. My bum, side to side, if I sit down and I get a tape measure and measure across, like not around, but across, it is 40 centimeters. So I fit beautifully in this kayak. I cannot sit cross-legged, which may sound like an odd thing to say, but I do like to sit cross-legged sometimes in a kayak. I can't do that, but I can be very comfortable for a fair whack of time. A lot of people will not be able to. Do not buy this kayak unless you measure yourself first. You've got a few centimeters of give, like I reckon you could go up to 45 maybe, but the side chambers are, 2 psi, so they are going to push back on you a bit. Now, this is an open style sit on top kayak. A lot of people love sit on tops. They're easy to flop in and out of. You feel really open. You can get wet in sit on top kayaks, depending on the conditions, but for some people that doesn't really matter that much. Now, sit on tops typically don't go as fast or as straight as sit in kayaks, but this one is pretty good, and there's a couple of reasons why. One of them is the drop stitch floor. So drop stitch is a chamber that is stitched top to bottom all the way through. So when you inflate it to high pressure, I think it's around 6 psi, this floor, it maintains this shape and gives you really good rigidity. So the bottom is very smooth and therefore sort of cruises along in the water. The other reason this one goes pretty well in the water is it's got 2 fins. So it's got a big fin just at the back there, and it's got a small fin at the front here. So for a short sit on top kayak, the tracking is pretty good. You can see it's waggling. Pretty well all sit on tops like this are gonna waggle to some degree, but look at the speed. Like I'm going quite fast in this kayak. I was impressed with the speed. Unfortunately, as you can see on the day we were testing this, and every day I've taken it out since then, there's been 0 wind. So I can't tell you the wind effect yet. Now, in terms of versatility, it's very good. Like this is good for kids, it's good for dogs, it's good for fishing, but the rod holder is this little fabric thing at the back. It's not a robust sort of rod holder. It's not, a Railblazer or something of really good quality, but if you just need to stow, you wouldn't have a line out and have it in there, but if you just need to stow your rod, you certainly can in it. It's also got bung holes, so if you want to take it out in sort of rougher conditions and you're going to be getting water in, or you're bringing your dog who's going to bring water in, you can open up the holes and it becomes a self-bailing kayak. Bear in mind that water also comes back up through the holes. It equalizes on the water, if that makes sense. So if it's a cold day and the conditions are good, you can just leave it closed. Now, the seat was quite good. It doesn't have the sort of lift or the padding that I'm used to in the advanced frame and advanced elements sort of kayaks, but the grid was nice. The shape was good. It was very cool. Like it lets the breeze go through a bit. As I already mentioned, it's quite narrow, and the back was quite supportive. I was happy with that. I went out for like a couple of hours one day and was okay after a couple of hours, which is a good sign. You can take the foot brace out. So like I said, if you're taking kids or dogs or whatever, that's fine. Now, this kayak comes with a paddle, and it's a nice one. Normally I'm sort of skeptical of paddles that come with a kayak because they're always just rubbish, right? They've made it as cheap as possible. This is a nice paddle. It's got a fiberglass shaft. It's very lightweight, smallish blades, but still good. It's about 225 centimeters in length. I like a little longer, I have to admit. The limitation of this paddle is that for whatever reason, they haven't given you any feathering. So feathering is when instead of your kayak blades being, I need to be like this, don't I? Instead of your kayak blades being flat, one of them is sort of tilted. And that's really important for technique. So you're able to generate a lot more power and really good efficiency of stroke if you actually use your whole body to paddle. And that means rotating through your torso. And to do that, you really need your blades offset. So I cannot paddle with flat blades. I hate it. So for me, I was like, what's going on here? Now, doesn't mean it's worthless. Like you can try to drill a hole in the fiberglass where you want the feathering to be. Or it's brand new, but it comes brand new with the kayak. It's good quality. You could sell it and then buy yourself one that's got feathering options in it. It also comes with a pump. This is a good quality pump. Like it's got a good good quality gauge on it. It's got inflate and deflate. It's got single and double action. And you know, I've experienced sort of these pumps before. They're good quality. However, it's a nano barrel. It's a very small barrel. You can't really tell by the picture here, but you can tell by the setup video that I am using an Ozito to get most of the air in. That's just an inflator. So I wouldn't buy this kayak without also buying either an electric pump or some kind of inflator, because if you try to set this up with the nano barrel pump only, you're going to be here for a lot longer than 725, just because every time you pump, there's just not that much air coming in because the chamber's not that big. But 7.5 minutes, that's a pretty quick setup. It's very simple too. The only sort of thing you've got to be aware of is there's 2 fins to click in. So you want to keep sand and debris out of those fin boxes. The pack away is a breeze because, like I said, you can wipe it all down. And the beauty is that the mesh bag it comes with is huge. So you don't need to be amazing with your folding. You literally just fold it anyway and shove it in. And it breathes because it's mesh. So if your seat's not completely dry, you can sort of put it on top and let it breathe. Pretty easy, nice long straps, pretty easy to pick up. I was really happy with the bag. So overall, I was really impressed with the Kokopelli Platte. I thought it paddled really nicely, quick and easy to set up, really light. Like when I picked it up, I went, whoa, that is a light kayak, robustly made. Just make sure you measure your bum before you buy it, seriously. If you have any questions about the Kokopelli Platte Inflatable Kayak, please get in touch. This is Emily at Oz Inflatable Kayaks.